And now, holy shit, folks, we are now joined by a special, maybe the most special guest. I got carpal tunnel syndrome flicking through this kid's Wikipedia. This intro is going to be long. It's going to be good. I'll start. The 2005 first overall pick. He won 1 World Junior Gold. He won 1 World Cup. He was leading scorer and MVP. Thanks for coming. He won 2 Art Ross trophies. He's won 2 Hart trophies, 2 Maurice Richard trophies as leading goal scorer in the National Hockey League. 2-time Olympic gold medalist. One of them caused me to get silver. Suck on that, Whit. 2-time Conn Smythe winner as playoff MVP. 3-time MVP voted on by his peers. Ted Lindsay Award and the Lester B. Pearson Award. And most important, 3-time Stanley Cup champion. He's watched the Replacements movie 5,000 times in his life. He afforded me the chance to sit on my couch and just touch myself to watching Fred Couples golf swings on YouTube because he gave me so much money. Our white whale, Sidney Crosby. Holy shit. Wow. What a treat, Sid. Wow. My first question after that intro, and Whit, oh my God, did that go well?
Hall of Fame intro, wow.
What finally made you come on? This has been years in the making.
Well, I'm a little disappointed. I thought I was getting 187. I thought I was getting number 187. So
Biz said that originally. He was on that.
But here I am.
Well, that'll go into superstitions later.
Yeah, we have about 30 minutes of superstition talk coming up.
But no, seriously, thank you so much for coming on. We're up in Cole Harbour. We're in Halifax. Sid's from Cole Harbour. How special is it as living here in the summer? I mean, it's a beautiful town. It's like you'll never leave here, huh?
I don't think. No, yeah. I mean, been coming back here since I can remember. So, yeah, it's just the people, the place. I have a lot of family here. It just feels right coming back here, so it's been a lot of fun.
We got to plug where we're at, too, because your buddy set this up for us.
The Stubborn Goat. What a spot.
Hey, leave me out of this.
No, but the bar itself, I know you guys have the Women's World Championship coming here. When's that coming? Next year, 2020, so your buddy's like, hey, I might need a little extra business. Sid, help me out, so this is why the setup's here.
We come here a lot. We frequent here, so we thought it'd be a good setup for you guys, and they put on a good show here.
And we found out that you kind of, when you're in town here, have to travel around with a bit of a security team.
I wondered if you'd even ever go out. I can't even imagine it.
Just so no pictures are being taken with alcohol in front of you. Just not like a full-on SWAT team, which I would have expected.
But if that was the case, we wouldn't get near him. So you should be thankful.
A few guys looking out for you nonstop here.
Yeah, I mean, I go to the same places, so you see the same guys, and they get used to the routine. But I usually hide out in the back here in most of the places.
Should we hop right into the superstition talk?
No. Actually, I want to start first off. Just our year playing together. We were rookies together. So that year was wild. I didn't make the team out of camp. Sid was the first overall pick coming in. Actually, before the season, I wanted to get your thoughts and your memories on finding out that Pittsburgh got the first pick. Like, where were you then?
You know what? I don't remember where I was.
I remember where I was.
Oh, you know what? I was watching the lottery in my basement, actually. So.
Oh, you're just
I was at home.
Where the dryer was that you shot into, same room.
Yeah, I was hanging out there.
So here's my memory of it. I'm down the Cape Cod. I'm with my family, and all of a sudden, my brother comes bombing out of the house. Pittsburgh got Crosby. Holy shit, you're gonna play with Crosby. And I was like, oh my God, I could get so many points. Snapping breakout passes.
You automatically think of yourself.
I immediately thought of myself, but it was the best moment of all time.
What did you know about Pittsburgh and the Penguins?
Well, I had an agent who was living there, D. Rizzo, so that was kind of random that he was in Pittsburgh and the rest of the agency was in California. But then I had met Dan Potash on a flight, who covers our team.
Randomly? You met him?
Like 2 years prior to that, and Eddie Johnson, who coached the team a year before that at a golf tournament. So it was just random how it kind of worked out that I knew a few people in Pittsburgh prior to that, but we thought we were going to be unreal. We thought we were going to win the Cup that year.
Ziggy Palfy came in. Gaunch was the big signing, and all of a sudden...
I remember. I was at training camp.
Oh, yeah, you were there, too.
I was fighting Dan Carcillo
at 8 in the morning.
Oh, my God. That was so crazy. I still can't believe that camp.
They said no fighting, and I think probably in the first period of the first inter-squad game, me and Carcy were throwing bombs at each other.
There was Vandenbush.
Oh, Vandenbush.
Bonvie
was... Yeah, did they go?
Was Andre Waugh there that year or no?
Andre Waugh was there that year.
Like, there was some serious tilts, and then we'd all go to lunch together and hang out.
Yeah, that was pretty much
Odie lunch.
Oh yeah.
Was Lyle Oline your first roommate?
But he used to call me after the OD lunches at like 4 and ask me to go to dinner, but you hadn't left the spot that you're at.
So we're talking about Lyle Oline, who, by the end of it, nobody would want to go to lunch with him after practice.
No, because it would turn into dinner and then like post-dinner bar, and you're like, "What just happened? It's 1 a.m. I went to lunch at 1 p.m."
Yeah, I used to stay
like
away
time
from
travel.
lunch.
Dude, where's my car? We mentioned the fact that you randomly bumped into all these Pittsburgh people. We were talking about last night. It's kind of like how the stars align with you. You end up meeting Andy O'Brien randomly at some summer camp. And I mean, I'm sure at the time you probably didn't know this guy was going to be one of the innovators as far as hockey trainers, or really even trainers in general.
Yeah.
And he becomes your guy.
Yeah, it just worked out that way. I was at a camp, and he was from Prince Edward Island. We were at Alan Andrews Hockey School, and yeah, I just liked the way he did stuff. I didn't really want to lift weights. I was pretty young. He was, pretty good at explaining things and how he moved and stuff like that. So, just kind of randomly in Halifax here. So, was able to connect with him, and he spent time going back and forth and spent a lot of time together in those early years. He was just getting out of school. I think he was at Western, just leaving there. So
incredible timing for both guys.
Yeah, it worked out good for me, yeah.
What gave you that work ethic, though? Was it just something instilled in you from a young age, or was it like maybe your first season after doing summer training being like, wow, I feel much more physically superior than everyone around me based on the training? Or
yeah, I don't know what it was. I think that I just like being athletic. I played a bunch of sports growing up, and I think when I grew up, I was always the youngest kid, so I was a lot smaller than guys. I was playing with guys 2-3 years older, so I thought that's my competitive edge if I can start maybe doing stuff a little bit earlier.
Weren't you a soccer goalie?
I don't know. I played everything.
Well, and then all of a sudden in his warm-ups, he couldn't touch the soccer ball, remember? Dude, early in his career, he would, he has this very regimented pregame warm-up. He's doing all his Andy O'Brien active warm-up drills, and the guys would be playing soccer, and the ball come over, and he'd be doing flips to get out of the way. Like, the ball couldn't touch him. But now you play, right?
Yeah, I always played. I just didn't touch it before I played. Make sure you get that right.
Yeah. Okay, exactly. He's always played, but the ball couldn't touch him until he was ready to play.
I didn't touch it before I entered the game. That was the deal.
You said a word I wanted to get into, work ethic, because it is crazy. Like, I've told so many people, they ask about you, like, you do work harder than anyone I ever met. And it's always been that way. You told me that even in your teens or early 20s, weren't you getting up at like 6 in the morning in your room, throwing half your gear on and going to skate alone?
Yeah, that was before there was a lot of hockey camps here, and we were out pretty early, so like May, June, there wasn't a ton of ice, and that was the only time available before hockey camps, and that was a grind.
But you'd throw half your gear on in the bedroom?
It was so early, I was just like, I'm throwing my gear on here. Nobody's going to see me. I'm jumping in my car. I'm the only one on the ice. Yeah, so things have changed. The ice is a little more available now.
No, I just was going to mention his rookie year. You obviously led the team in scoring, but I looked. He was also third in penalty minutes on the team, 110.
Oh, he used to be screaming at refs.
Oh, you were bad. You were hard on refs.
What was that all about?
A lot of pressure that first year, guys.
Oh,
I thought we were
there
win,
was.
102 points I think he finished with and didn't get the Calder. That's
the only thing I couldn't list off there is the Calder. It's like the commercial, Ovechkin.
Were you gooning it up early or just?
No, that was probably a lot of tens, couple tens.
Lot of tens. I mean, I remember.
A lot meaning what? Like probably 2 or 3.
4.
I remember Bugsy telling me with I think 5 games left. He said something like, "You're at 98." He's like, "You think you're going to get it?" I was like, "I'm not getting 100. There's no way I'm getting 100. I can fight it off." Sure enough, I got 100 that night, like right away. Didn't even and I got an extra 2. I was so pissed that I got 100. I just got teed up for an extra 2.
That's kind of nice to have around your belt, though. Kind of gives you a little bit of toughness.
Oh, you gotta love that. I think you were the first rookie to ever have 100 points and 100 penalty minutes. So that'll never happen again. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
We briefly mentioned Zygmunt Palffy. Was that the season that he just kind of disappeared
in Nashville?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, he took a bad hit. I remember that. Yeah.
Remember how good Ziggy was?
He was scary too.
Yeah, he was scary.
But yeah, Ziggy was unbelievable. Like, he just toyed with goalies. Could just knock any puck down. You give him any pass anywhere. He was incredible. Like,
I know.
So underrated for how good he was. Well, you saw him.
But yeah, I
saw him in camp for a minute.
There at camp.
You just mentioned Ovechkin. Now, you guys, your careers have basically been intertwined since you both entered the league. Do you have any relationship with him at all, or is it just all on the ice?
Yeah, pretty much on the ice. I mean, we see each other at, different events and stuff, awards and things like that. But, yeah, it's pretty much on the ice, and it's had its moments over the years. And,
yeah, you might say.
I think that's to be expected. We've been kind of built up against each other from day one, but we've had some good moments, some bad ones, but that just comes with playing against them so much.
Do you think that was created by the media very early on, just kind of putting you guys against each other, and then?
But then it happened. It didn't even matter if the media had done it.
Yeah, I think it added to it. I think it's an easy storyline, right? You got the Canadian kid, the Russian kid, the rivalry there between, and it's just two totally different people as far as personalities are concerned.
The matching hat trick game the year you guys won it. That was sick.
Yeah, of course. We lost that game though, so
I know
better
you
for
did.
him than me. But
yeah, but you lost the battle. You won.
I had my guy.
I covered my fucking guy.
For you guys tonight. Huh? Hey, Joe Thornton would have said it. Joe Thornton would have.
Fuck, I had 3. What do you want me to do? Get 4? Jesus Christ.
Man, it must have been so nice to get the cup first, though. Because that is such a big monkey off the back, because they're always going to weigh you on your career achievements on the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I mean, to play that team again too after losing the year before, you think you're never going to get there again. I mean, that's the way I was thinking.
And then remember Hossa left.
Yeah.
After we lost.
Yeah.
That was just crazy. Well, I have so many questions. First off, talk about a fuck up by Ray Sherrill trading me for Chris Kunitz.
But you don't still
want to take that one back, Ray?
We talk about it every episode.
When you won, it was 09, right? We lost in 08.
Yeah.
Did you think at any point that night of me, Bugsy, and Army? Did you?
Oh, buddy. Well, so many thoughts went through my mind, because I remember Bugsy sitting in the room after 08, and him knowing that's probably a good chance that that's going to be his last game in Pittsburgh. We lose in the final, so that was brutal.
He didn't take his jersey off for so long.
I know. He just sat there, and then I remember, with you guys, with Army, and obviously we came in at the same time thinking we were going to play together forever. You just think that.
It's just you don't learn the business till the first trade.
Yeah, you have no idea. So just that went through my mind a lot, and that crazy game where we kept it alive in 08, that triple overtime. You played
I played 58 minutes. Sid's I just kept seeing 19, Langley body jumping over the board, snapping around. I was I played 57 minutes.
And then Gaunch came back after missing 3 periods and sets up the winning goal. But yeah, all those kind of moments, came back to me. But we had such an awesome group, and we all thought we were going to play together forever.
And then so that next year, you guys lose Game 5. Right, and you got blown out that game, and then you go back, huge game in Pittsburgh, and then Game 7, Max Talbot, what a guy to become a hero forever. The thing I don't think a lot of people realize is you didn't play the third period, right?
Second half of the game,
probably.
I think early second. I want to say it was long.
It just went on a hit, or do you remember?
Yeah, Franzen. I got hit by Franzen. He's massive. You know how big that guy was. He just hit all my knee, and it just jammed it in the boards, and I got freezing and all that stuff. I thought, okay, maybe, and got out there for the third one shift against Datsuk and Zetterberg, whoever was out there. It was just
this ain't
I'm going to
happening.
cost us the game.
Your liability.
It was
for the
brutal.
first time
Worst
ever.
feeling ever. Worst feeling. That's not how you dream it up at all.
No,
you would have been scoring the OT winner at the Olympics.
Yeah, it was brutal. But you know what? Just seeing everything, it was just a totally different look. But just seeing all those little things you talk about all the time, and we couldn't even get the puck past the red line. Guys were just chipping it past, changing every 15 seconds. I was guys, just stay over an extra 15. Nobody was
give us 30, boys. Give us 30.
And then Cronwall hit the post or the crossbar, I think, with 2 minutes left. I was right behind him. It looked like it was going top shelf off the bar. And then when he hit the bar, I'm like, okay, I think
this might be it.
We might be able to do this, actually.
What a vulnerable feeling, though, especially for you being in the middle of the bench, having no control over it. And then seeing how it's a kamikaze every shift, and you're like, oh, I just wish I could bring my patience out there.
Yeah, and you want to be a cheerleader, right? But at the same time, that wasn't really... I didn't really do that, so I didn't want to act. I didn't really want to act out of character either. I just was trying to.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's come on, boys, come on. They're what? Is it on speed? No, he just hurt his knee. Do you think those two cup finals made you realize, or do you agree that Lidstrom was the best defenseman you ever played against?
No doubt.
Dude.
Like, incredible. And Rafalski was really good, too.
He was.
And he doesn't get a lot of credit.
He was, you're right.
But not even close.
Yeah,
like,
that just shows how sick he was.
Jans always used to practice batting. He used to make me dump them in on him because he used to watch Lindstrom do it.
Yeah.
Where he would be cutting backwards and you'd try to chip it
Yeah,
by him and
and-
dump it in, and he'd knock it out of the air. And he was the best ever, so Jans used to make me do it in practice.
Biz like can't even flip it in, right?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, Jesus, Biz can't get it off the ice when he's trying to get it in.
Well, yeah, so he started making me throw him.
Yeah, but then the coaches get so mad when you don't get it deep. When a guy bats it there, it's like, what do you want me to
Yeah,
do
exactly.
here? Like,
I think we had somebody on who was like, you trying to dump it in on him.
No, it was Bob. I told the story about Bobby Ryan.
Oh, it was Bobby Ryan.
Jesus Christ, Lidstrom. Fuck, give me a break. But it was the same type thing. It's the same type thing. So, all right, so you get that first cup, dude. Like, I mean, talk about the celebration in Pittsburgh, because I mean, I was there for 4 years and saw what a city that is, sports town, the most undercover city in the U.S., like just a great spot. So, do you remember that celebration still? Like,
yeah,
all on
like
Carson Street?
Yeah, the parade was crazy, but it happened. I think it was like a Friday night. We ended up being down there with the cup and just people on top of cars and hanging the cup outside of Mario's there. You know, you've made a few appearances at that place, I'm sure, over the years.
Oh, yeah.
But just, you know, like, I couldn't picture it until I saw it. I never expected Carson Street to look like that. I always thought, you know, obviously was Grand Street or whatever, you know, through the city, but not Carson Street. It was just mayhem there. And obviously I'm trying to think back, 16, 17, I don't think we even had anything close to that, just because it was
the first
weekdays.
one.
It was weekdays. That's a
Oh,
huge
yeah,
difference.
no
It wasn't
shit.
weekends, right? So we won on a weekend. So
Won on a
it
good time.
It worked out. It worked out.
Talbot, who lived right behind Mario's, had that pretty sick modern.
Oh, that
pad there.
place was unreal.
But he must have been on fire because, you know, an unexpected MVP in Game 7. He ended up scoring both goals there.
Yeah.
You were pretty close with him, too,
Yeah.
as well. Because you usually gravitated more towards the French guys.
Oh, was it?
Oh, really?
Because you hung out with Fleury, Dupuis, and Talbot, and who else, really?
Army, Whit,
Bugsy.
I would say he would always go to you with the French guys more.
Fuck no, he was OT with us. Actually, speaking of restaurants, Sid, if you still go to Maggiano's in Philly every time,
Must be the Q influence. Hey? They played
That's
Rimouski.
what I was gonna link it
That's
to.
what you put it together.
Yeah,
eh?
Biz is like Quebec League. He loves French guys. There it is. We
Hey,
got
I was
it.
in my
Light bulb went off.
I was in my hotel room last night. I'm like connecting the lines and like I'm a mad scientist.
So rookie year, you got a hat trick in Philly after eating at Maggiano's, and I believe went there every game in Philly the next 4 years.
At least. Man,
What made you
that
finally
was
switch?
so heavy. What a meal, though.
Oh, family
man.
style chicken parm.
You know,
just crushed
you know
it.
who introduced me to Maggiano's was Merle's. I
Merle's.
think Merle's was the one who got me going
Matt
to Maggiano's.
Murley.
Merle's has
Talk
been
about
on
on
here.
the
So
pod.
Merle's was, you guys were roommates,
Yeah.
correct? Oh, yeah.
I had a brief stint with you, I think, as a roommate there.
Yeah,
for a
you,
bit.
you had a day of me shaking my foot with my
Yeah.
restless leg syndrome, and he's like, "See you later, Frank. Get me somebody new."
Krunitz coming up.
It was Merle's and Army were my two Colby Armstrong
Yeah.
were the two roommates for. But Merle's, you couldn't get a better first roommate. Just always had something set up.
Always.
Like always, you get
He
in.
just
He's
taught you
like
pro hockey.
He's like meet in the lobby in 10, and you don't know what you're doing. You just follow Merle's. You knew it was going to be good.
How many?
like out on the town, you mean?
Just like out to do anything. Like he'd set up dinner. He'd set up where we're going to watch the Monday night football game.
Mini
It's
golf,
Monday
like
night.
could be anything.
Yeah,
Like,
mini golf.
anything.
It's like, hey, we got this set up over here at this place. Merle's is a big time setup guy. And It's
Yeah.
the guy you need in every crew.
Oh,
too.
I love
guy.
that. So you just
Glue
show
guy.
up
glue guy.
Yeah.
He's a glue guy.
and you show up and you always know you're gonna have a good time.
And all he ever asked for, he's like, I need a gum guy. Someone's got to be his
Oh.
gum guy. And so I was always gum guy.
Pasha's a gum guy. That's why I keep him.
So a
around.
lot of people have tweeted at me, like a lot of people, is our little exchange skating around during the Cup Finals when
you
you
did
guys
Mike?
fucked with me about my breath. You guys, how long did you guys plan that one? Do you remember that whole thing? You were in my head.
That was pretty quick, I think. I mean, we always had something on the go. I feel like
I know, we did.
That group was so unique. I feel like with Flower and George. When George was there, he was always up to something. Obviously, you guys had your little side bets going on all the time, which our warm up revolved around the half moon with these two.
Half moon
It
meet.
was
So everyone.
unbelievable.
Oh
my
forgot
God.
about
in
that.
games?
Oh my God! In games, the whole warm up just stopped for these two. Like
You go
literally.
like $1,000 a shot.
In warm-ups.
Yeah.
In an NHL game.
Yeah, and like if you go first and you go down bar in, and then like I'm like, dude, he ain't scoring, and then Fleury kicks it away. I'm like, yes. Then it'd get me fired up. But a couple times I lost, and I was just like, I think going into the game a little mentally weak because I just lost a couple hundred.
100%. And then you guys had the sprint contest, did you not?
Do you remember that?
That was the best. I actually told Nate about that the other day. Like, we're in the room. George's like, everyone on the ice in like 10 minutes. We're like, what's going on? You know, but we're like, it's going to be good. We don't know what it is. It's going to be good, though. So we get out there. These two are lined up on the goal line, ready to race to the red line. I don't know what was on, how much was on the line.
I think Terrian came out, too, didn't he?
Oh, everybody was out. Everybody was out.
Dude, Ray Sherrill was like on the stopwatch on the goal line doing it.
Oh, we had some fun.
All right, so you mentioned Fleury. Great friend of yours, Stanley Cup champ. But what was it like the years where a good buddy of yours kind of lost his game a little bit, lost his starting job? Like, everyone says how great he was to be around even when he was going through those times.
Yeah.
Did you think the same?
Yeah, definitely. He didn't change at all. I mean, that's
just hard.
Probably the hardest thing ever for him, knowing how competitive he is and coming in at a young age and just carrying it the whole way. Like, he made it look so easy, and that's not easy for a young goalie. So,
No.
you know, we kind of take that for granted, but the way he handled it, I mean, you couldn't handle it any better, and especially being a goalie, there's that little, you know, it's a little different. It's a little more competitive.
The ego
position.
side of goaltending is always
you have
there.
to have that to be good.
Yeah,
but,
you would have never been good to begin with.
What's that?
You would have never been good to begin with
Yeah,
if you didn't
yeah.
have that motor.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, he handled it unreal, and he was so huge in us, you know, winning. You look at some of the, like that Washington series.
Oh, my God.
I mean, we got so comfortable with him just making save after save after save, and then we'd get our chance, and boom.
Was that the second of the back-to-backs where he ended up taking over for most of that playoff? What was the feeling like when they ended up deciding to go back to Murray, and I think it was even in the finals? Or maybe it would have been the conference
final against Ottawa, yeah. So I think we struggled a bit in Ottawa. I think it was game 3. And I think Murr started after that, and he came in and played unreal. So it's, you know, at that point you're that deep, and we had been through that, you know, in the year prior.
Does that not even go through your head, though? Or are you trying to just worry about and focus on your game? Or when you hear about the switching of goaltenders, is everyone kind of like, wow, that's a fucking very major decision on a guy who's carried us to here?
Yeah. We had a lot of the same guys the second year. So I think having gone through that the year before, and Flower handling it the way he did and not making a big, that was the best thing about it. Like, it automatically wasn't a distraction, and obviously you feel for him. We're teammates. He got us to that point, and we didn't know at that point if they were going to rotate after that, if Murray was going to go all the way. So you try not to read into it too much. It's part of the position, and we just tried to go with it, but it worked out.
I'm trying to, I don't want to insult Ottawa here, but were you guys shocked that went 7 games?
I wasn't. I mean, we talked a lot about it. They were such a different opponent. Like, they sat back.
But if they would have went to the Cup final, I would have been rattled. I would have been pissed. I'm like, they don't. You know, you guys. I think it was Game 7 overtime, was it not?
Yeah, double.
Yeah, I guess you scored that one.
Cooney.
The best one was when they were all wearing his jersey.
Oh, that was the best
game, and
that
there was all Kunitz on the ice. And
you must have loved
That was in Chicago, too, I think, wasn't it? I was like, holy shit, I'm not going to sleep at night. Actually, though, what a great guy he is, though. Everyone's told me, like, he made an impact right away hammering guys, too. That hit on Timonen.
Oh, that's one of the biggest hits I've ever seen. Yep. But he just, you know what, he can do anything. Like, it doesn't matter if he's not scoring, if he's not setting guys up. He's doing all those little things that you don't really notice, but you know that are so important to winning. And he just, in the playoffs, he always found a way to just elevate his game.
Yeah.
Going back to that first Cup win, Sid, what was the most unexpected thing about winning the Cup? Something that, like, no one told you about. You're like, holy shit, I didn't know this was going to happen.
I think just everything that comes with it after. Like, you think of winning, you think of, like, that feeling of hoisting the cup, being with your teammates. The parade probably is in your head just from seeing it, you know, on TV, that kind of thing. But it's just, you know, whether it's coming back home and seeing everyone huddle around wanting to see the cup, and I don't know, it's the people that are a part of it as you, you know, as you got older and made the NHL. Just it's you winning it, but it feels like it's such a such a bigger group that wins it. So I think just having that impact, I don't think you really understand it until you win it.
How many years did you have to go before you didn't have any more roommates? Like when you finally got a solo room?
I got my own room pretty early. I was lucky.
Yeah,
they were
you
good.
did.
Like Flower had his goalie, so I think he got his own pretty early. But it used to be 500 games, wasn't it?
It used to be 500 games, but it was still like when we came in, I thought it was everyone had them because you were with like Odeline for a minute, and I was with
Rex. Yeah.
Yeah, like no.
They used to put the older guy with the young guy just to
so they could be like, hey, do everything and then pay the room bill.
Speaking of roommates, Lemieux, you lived at Lemieux's place for a while there.
What a
supposed to be a year.
Supposed to be a year, and all of a sudden he just moved out. He's like, all right, once I win my third cup, I'll leave.
At first, was it a little uncomfortable living at someone else's house?
Yeah, I mean, right away. But he had 4 kids, and it's just a very like normal family. So I guess it it got normal pretty quick, just because obviously you look up to him. You know, he is who he is, but then you're in that family environment. You see just a regular guy. Obviously, he had an amazing career, but I was playing with him at that point too. So that was pretty awesome. I mean, drive to the rink every day and just kind of probably asking him every question in the book. And one of the best stories I have from my first couple weeks there, they convinced me to get a dog right away. So I was like, I was like, I don't know if I need a dog right now. Like, I can barely do my own laundry. So they convinced me to get a dog. I have a puppy. Still have the puppy this day. Or 14-year-old Sam. But anyways, so I come back after the game and I smell something. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, puppy definitely like shit somewhere in the house. Like, I got to find out where this is, you know?
This is Mario's house.
Yeah, so I'm like looking everywhere, like all over the house. Finally, I come around the corner and he's cleaning up all this shit like everywhere in the kitchen. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like so embarrassed. I'm like, Mary Lemieux's cleaning up my dog shit.
Mario Lemieux is wiping off my dog shit.
I'm like, this is so backwards.
Yeah.
This should not be happening.
I would have been like, Mario, you told me to get the dog. I mean, it's not my fault.
That damn Bissonnette brought another broad here, Mario. Don't blame this on me.
Is that
But
what we're doing?
he was awesome. Like he ended up retiring, I think, in November, maybe it was December. But the whole family, he was unbelievable to me, and still is to this day.
Do you remember Army and I were talking about this? I was actually crying, laughing. The text Mario sent you after the big night in New York you had your rookie year.
Taking a bite of the Big Apple?
Yeah, Army said
he loved that one, yeah.
Army's sitting there, and he's just said, like, I mean, I'm telling the story for him, but Army's telling me this, like, yeah, I'm sitting there, and his text gets Mario Lemieux. I'm like, holy fuck, let me see. And Sid had 2-2 against the Rangers that night, and Mario just writes, way to take a small bite out of the Big Apple, kid. And Army's like, oh my fucking God! Holy fuck, that's Mario Lemieux texted you that!
But that's so Army, too.
Yeah,
he was, like, reading on the bus. He's looking over my shoulder. He's like, who's that? Like, is that Mario?
Yeah.
I was like, geez, like, play it cool, man.
No, and Army's like, did you say anything about me? I got to talk about it a bunch of times today. I love you, Army.
Another teammate we wanted to talk about was Pascal Dupuis.
Yeah.
A throw-in on that trade
that's
for
crazy.
Hossa.
That's crazy. Like, he's another guy like Cooney. I mean, he just did all those little things, and I feel like those guys, they're so important to winning because they do more than just score or set up guys. They just understand the game. If you need energy that night, they can bring that. If you need a hit, they'll bring that. They're willing to play any amount of minutes, whether it's 10 or 20, but if they play 20, they want to play 25. Like, it's just that they want to make an impact on the game somehow, and he was one of those guys that he worked hard. He was willing to do whatever it took to win. So,
like, we'll go back to the Kunitz trade. Is that something that they call you in and say, hey, what do you think we need in our lineup that was just their move, and then how long did it take you to evaluate the fact that he was going to be a big piece to you guys winning the championship?
It's hard to say then. You don't know. It takes time, I think, for your team to just develop chemistry and things like that. But he was a good fit. I think it started off with I played with him and Billy right away, and we had some really good chemistry, and it just seemed to fit. But we were so deep. I mean, we had so many guys that could chip in, and we had Miro Shatan that year.
Tyler Kennedy,
Sakura,
like he's someone who would chip in.
Fedotenko, like guys that just guys you wouldn't think right away as goal scorers, but like Feds was unbelievable.
You get 20.
Yeah.
What about Guerin when he came over? He must have made just an impact in the room.
Yeah, big time. I mean, he was
Boston
so
guy.
comfortable. He was so comfortable right away. It didn't take me time. First time I met him, I remember in the training room, he just started unleashing on me, just chirping me. I was just like, oh man.
Did you love it though?
I loved it. Yeah,
Yeah.
But just, it helped that he was older. He had been through it. He had been on a few teams before that. So.
Yeah, he had.
Do you find people are tentative about busting your balls, given like your stature in the room or whatever?
Yeah, I think like guys that I came in with were obviously much more comfortable than it is now. We'll put it that way.
Oh man, these kids are so scared of everything.
These kids coming now.
I was
like,
on the training table.
Can you sign my iPhone, please, Sid? I'll go to the net hard.
No, it's just different. It's just different. Everyone did it. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
You know where you were in the lineup, or whether you played 10 games or 82 a year. It's just you were fair game. I can remember my first year going to get a haircut and just being like, can you just give me something that doesn't look like I got a haircut? Like just something where I actually got my haircut, but it doesn't look like I got one.
Like I need a half a trim. I need a half a trim here.
I'm going to get absolutely shredded. No matter how good this is, it's going to be awful.
So Sid's pulling into the arena, and we're playing Philly that night, and most people think he's stressed out about going up against Mike Richardson, but he's actually stressed that people are going to start screaming, "What'd you get, a free bowl of soup with that haircut?" That's how it went.
Unreal.
From the fans, it's fine, but from your teammates, that's just
exactly.
that cut you deep.
I had one thing written down.
You had a million things written down.
Yeah, actually, I have a million things written down here. I won't read them.
Good.
Thank God.
In the second of the back-to-backs, there was a little bit of taunting on PK Subban's part with the whole the
mouthwash,
the bad breath, and then he was bringing the mouthwash. Like, were you getting a lot of that information? Like, is that something you just laugh about? Were you irritated by it?
Yeah, I was a little irritated by it. Yeah, I mean, I think you could tell at the time when I was doing the interviews, it was just like the last thing I wanted to be
talking about.
But I mean, maybe that was part of it. Maybe that's.
Did it fire you up? Like, were you like? Because I know at that point, I think they were winning the series when he was doing that.
No, they just tied it. They had just tied it 2-2. We won first two, and that was in Nashville. He had said something to Gensey, leaving the ice, and I just kind of went to kind of get in the middle and try to break them up, and he kind of kept saying stuff, and him and I went at it, and nothing was said even remotely close to that. But then to read that after, it's like, oh, okay.
You're like, all right, we're making a show.
I'm gonna answer about this. So it was more of that.
Loving it.
It was more of that, and then I think on top of that, he ended up taking Listerine, carrying a bottle of Listerine into the game or something like that.
Just trolling you.
I think more so it's you're like, I don't even want to answer, but like I have to talk about this now. That's what pisses you off.
Yeah, he still jokes about it. We were just at the awards, and he was still joking around about it. I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, I was just like, okay, I got to answer questions.
Scoreboard at the end of the day, though, right?
Well, speaking of...
that's just kind of little game. That's just mind games. It's nothing... Me and him had some good run-ins throughout the whole series. I was playing a lot against him. I don't have anything against him for that. I just was kind of annoyed that I had to answer about it.
All right. That's what I wanted to know. That's the answer I wanted.
The Tom Brady, Bill Belichick school of thinking, just don't ask me about nonsense. What about a mistake I made? And we need to go back into this for people who don't know. I made a bet that the man sitting right here would never score 50 goals in the NHL. Do you remember finding out about that? Who fucking told you? It's definitely Getz laugh. I think it was Getzy, wasn't it?
Probably Getz, yeah.
Yeah, fuck him.
Or Pears.
Well, either way.
Might have been Pears.
Yeah, it might have been Pears, too. This guy walks by me at the hallway of the Olympics and says, hey, heard about your bet, bud. It's a sweet bet. And then that year gets 50. Are you fucking kidding me?
Who did you bet?
I bet Talbot. Talbot's like, well, we're just talking about like his game, and I was like, I don't know if I'll ever get 50. But trust me, I'm blowing him more than anyone in the world. But I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever get 50. Look at his stick. He came into the league with this two-piece straight. It was like, I don't think it's possible. And Talbot, correct as he was, is like, dude, how stupid are you? You don't think he's going to get 50? And I ended up being wrong. But just the fact that you ended up finding out about it, I was like, oh no, if I start a podcast someday, he'll never do an interview.
Not necessarily a wrong opinion, considering when you came in, I would say you were more pass first mentality, and I think that maybe you realized people were catching on to that. Where there was one year it looked like you came back and all you'd done is on the summer break was work on your shot. Because then you were just sniping everything.
Yeah, I had a wood blade.
Oh, okay. By the way,
That was why?
That probably didn't help me. What's that?
if people could have video. Dude, Nate, this kid would get 100 blades. I'm talking to McKinnon. Yeah, another superstar. Thanks for coming. I'm getting legit. He's watching him. You would get 100 blades and maybe throw away 85 of them.
Yeah, because you could doctor them up. You could like bend wood blades back
I've seen you in the training room in training camp.
So when did you
look at it?
Why did you finally go one piece? What did
They
it?
didn't make them anymore.
No shit.
Yeah.
You
So I
still
think
have a
I think it was
two-piece.
2010 I started.
And got 50. There's the one piece commercial.
Would you have changed if they would have kept making
Probably
them?
not. I probably wouldn't have.
No.
I mean-
you're not a creature of change. You're just a creature.
Yeah.
Still the same cup, correct? Still the same jock?
Still the same one.
And
yeah.
that's since age what?
Probably midget.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Have you amended it at all? Like, did you fix any of it? Is it just the same one
it's
piece has
been-
always
yeah.
been?
He makes
It's been
Dana
done.
Hines do it.
Dana Heinze has dreams at night of the one extra stitch in his jock that hangs down to his knees
Man,
too. Protects his
Yeah, you give him
beanbag.
credit. That's probably like the worst thing he's got to do. And he gets it done. He keeps it together for
He
me.
knows the deal.
that's great.
He knows the deal.
One thing I want to ask you, and the start of the question might come off as negative. What's the weakest part of your game? Or maybe what's the thing that you need to work on more so than others in order to keep that part of your game up to par, or at least what you consider par?
I'd say speed. I mean, that's just part of getting older is you slow down a little bit. I mean, you just got to slow that curve.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I mean, the game's getting faster and faster, and obviously as you get older, you start to slow down a little bit. And, you know, the more you can slow that process down, the better. But it's just, you know, it's just part of getting older.
Do you think now, like, you play the game different mentally, positionally, like, as opposed to when you came in and you were just busting through the neutral zone, splitting the D every fucking shift?
Well, I think there's just more responsibility for the center, more than, I mean, they always just tell you, you know, help out the D down low, that kind of thing. But now you have to. Like, teams come so hard, they pinch. I remember, like, starting out, there used to be like 2 teams that their D would pinch. And that was like super high risk for teams to pinch the D. Now every team pinches. There's so much pressure on the D that you have, as a center, you have to help out all the time. If you're not there, you're D or toast. So, so I think it's just, I'd love to go back to that way of just flying through neutral zone, but you're not really going to have the puck much because you're not going to be able to help your D get out of the zone.
I want to go back to high school for a minute. You went to Shattuck St. Mary's in Minnesota, obviously well known for hockey. What made you make that decision? And also, was there culture shock just going to a school in the American Midwest all of a sudden?
Yeah, it was a big decision, but at the same time, it was one I felt really comfortable with because I hadn't really been introduced to U.S. college hockey. So I thought by going there, it'd be good to finally get on the ice every day, which wasn't something I did. Here growing up, we only practiced twice a week. So
Even at 14 and stuff?
Yeah, I think maybe 3 times in midget, but in up to Bantam for sure. We were only practiced twice a week, yeah. So that was a huge thing, just to be on the ice every day, to have the rink right on campus there. The education was going to be really good. But yeah, that just allowed me to go there and develop, play there and see what I wanted to do. If college was something I was interested in, that was the best opportunity I was going to have to really see it up close too. So
Were you 1 year?
1 year, yeah.
So 1 year and then to the Quebec League?
Yeah, and it was tough. I almost stayed and did 11 and 12 in the same year, and then would have been able to go to
Where
college.
would you have gone?
Yeah.
I remember North Dakota was probably up there. Yeah, just because Zach Parisi had gone to Shattuck.
Yeah.
He went there, and they had just built that rink and stuff, I think, then, and that was just kind of a draw there.
Did you have a ton of offers, or did it even get to that point where teams were offering?
No one offered him a fucking
No, I mean, if he was going to go juniors, that's what you peck ahead.
Hey, that's something I would ask sometimes, and I'm glad it didn't click off in my brain. Where I'm like, thank you for not saying that.
Well, you know what? There's like the NCAA rules are like, it's crazy because it's all like,
when you can legally commit and shit,
when
it's different.
I was sophomore. It's all coming back to me a bit, but like the rules are crazy. You can't talk directly to coaches or
They can like
directors
text you on a certain date,
Yeah,
but it's the NCAA keeps things so under wraps.
Yeah, so I feel like looking back then, it was like my coach would talk to the other like the college coach, and he basically
Carrier
relay
pigeons and
information.
Morse code.
You know, it was weird. Like I didn't know all these rules. I was pretty new to that whole process, but it wasn't as easy as just going on a visit and just
Yeah, you
laying it
couldn't
all
yet.
out there. There was ways to do it.
So when you were at Shattuck, you played and became real good buddies with Jack Johnson. You're now teammate on the
Yeah.
Penguins. Is it true there was a time that you guys played on the baseball team, you got hit, and he charged them out
Yeah,
or
that
something?
was crazy. Like that was that's the last baseball game I ever played in. But so I was pitching, and they were the other team was kind of chirping.
They were
Whatever.
squawking at you?
Yeah, that happened every game though. It was just fun. Like guys are going back and forth, and then he gets up to bat, and their pitcher, he starts saying stuff to their pitcher, but the guy starts brushing him off, and he kind of moves in a little closer, like kind of showing him, hey, I don't care if you're brushing me off. I'm going to move in tighter to the plate. So I'm on deck, and I'm like, this is not going to be good. Like you can tell, he's going to charge him around here at any point. Sure enough, brushes another one back. He goes out there. He just starts beating the crap out of the pitcher. Like within 2 punches, that guy's down. First baseman comes over. That guy's down. Second baseman throws his glove at him. And he's done. He's basically standing on the mound. 2 guys are down. I remember I ran like hockey mentality, grabbed the catcher. Because I'm thinking he might blindside him. So on top of the catcher, I got my guy. So I'm thinking, I'm like, what just happened? You know? So the athletic director came up to us after and said, you guys are going to have to sit out, the rest of the season. And, and he was like, Jack was so pumped. He was so fired up. He just got, bench clear.
He loved it.
I was just like, okay, we were playing another sport. Just we had to play something spring term. We played baseball, but yeah, that was I haven't been in anything like that. I mean, hockey-wise, but baseball, that's the last thing I expected going to that.
Even before Shattuck, like the nickname, like the next one, like you were like a prodigy growing up, and I'm wondering, being here, like living in Cole Harbour and Halifax, like do you think it was almost easier to deal with that if instead you're living in Toronto, right, where it's just like kind of a gong show, minor hockey and stuff? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think as far as staying grounded, I think it was easier.
Yeah.
Just because that's the one thing. Like the friends I grew up with, the coaches I had, it was all about team growing up. It didn't impress them if you had great numbers, and there's tons of kids in minor hockey that have great numbers that it just doesn't work out. And I think they always kind of reminded me of that. And playing with older kids, they didn't allow my head to get too big. There wasn't social media. There wasn't even just to get info on other players. You had to go online and try to figure out who the best guys were.
Yeah.
It was hard to do. Like you didn't know who was
I was
coming
looking for
from.
message boards on like Hockey's Future.
Yeah,
I
like
didn't
that's
know if
what
they were real
exactly.
websites.
Exactly, that's what it was. So I guess in that way it was probably a little bit better just without all the social media and stuff. But there's also some challenges too. It's a small town, and there's nowhere to kind of get away. And just when you get to that age where you're closer to junior, and there's that expectation. I remember when I was in junior, I was going to like high school, and I was getting ushered in the back door to do my exams. Like I was like, this is weird.
Come on,
This isn't
really?
like,
At that level?
Well, that's what, dude, but be honest, that's when you probably realize, like, I'm not going to have a normal life. I mean, it's never been that way.
And
for
it was pretty good. I think my parents did a good job, and obviously with the friends and stuff I have, they kept it as normal as can be, but it's just one of those things that it is what it is, and you make the best of it.
You're kind of private, and you keep a
Kinda.
Well, you run a tight ship. Was that just something you always wanted, where you just don't really want people knowing your business? Is that something that your parents were like, hey, this is going to benefit you if you live it this way in the future, or just?
No, I think it's just kind of learned. I think whatever works best for you, whatever you feel the most comfortable with, and I always felt like hockey was so scrutinized, and there's so much expectation that came with that, and there's a certain level of when it came to my personal life, I just liked having that for me. I didn't need to necessarily let everyone know what I was doing when I was doing it, but I thought like that was something I could have for me. Hockey was something that everyone was well aware of, but my personal life was for me.
Well, and as that goes on, though, you have to kind of work to to kind of keep it private. Whereas early on, it's a little different. Whereas now, like, you know, you deal with like paparazzi and stuff like that. Do you have to have like a team around you? Like,
No, it's not that.
Yeah, it's Nate right over here. Sitting there.
It's not that bad. I think, and after a while, you know, you're in different situations, and you know, you learn what works, what doesn't. And
like having no caller ID when you call people?
exactly.
That's the most legendary thing. If I've been just waiting since I got traded to get a no caller ID call because some say blocked, some have like you can tell it's a joke of a number. Sid's no caller ID every time. So I'm like, this is him. It's him.
Yeah. He said it's fairly easy though. You just got to call your provider and set it up.
Yeah, because I was explaining like what I thought was so cool, and then Grinelli goes, "My dad has that." I'm like, okay, well that's. All right, actually, one more thing. All right, because we're getting into all these good memories, or we're trying, but you've had some tough things to deal with in your career, and I really want to go into like buying jeans, dude, because it's just a disaster. I mean, dude, this guy buys these wide ass jeans and then gets the bottoms tapered in. Like,
the old boot cut. You know?
You've never found a pair of jeans in a store, no chance.
No, it's not easy.
Grinelli's salivating at his thighs
I
right
know.
now.
He was stroking it off to Torrey Krug's quads. Look at these fucking things.
Paige, they stretch.
That's what I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
Pasha, fucking right, Paige. Send me a couple, please.
How do they get so big? You said you're not into weights. Like just all the plyometrics makes them look like that?
I guess.
That's born, dude. He's born with those things, those fucking tracks.
Yeah, I don't know. I do a lot of leg stuff, but I think that there's lots of guys that do a lot of leg stuff. It's just, I guess, genetics.
All right, let's little international hockey flair for the folks at home. Before we even get into the 2010 and 14 Olympics, were you pissed off when you didn't make 06? I know, but like looking back, no one even like thought about your name wasn't even in the mix. But then you start thinking like at the break, you probably had 60, 70 points. Like,
yeah.
Did you start thinking it ever that year?
Like right before they started. I think it was like, when did they come out with the team? January or something?
Yeah, like December, I think.
December, yeah. So right before they were coming out with the team, I think there was a little bit of chatter that, you know, maybe an extra or something like that. But just that alone I was happy with. Like I didn't expect to even be on that radar coming in my first year. So I ended up going to Rimouski for Olympic break, actually.
That's what you did that year?
I remember.
Oh my God, Cross. That's a hockey nerd to a T right there.
I know, I had to tell you. I wasn't going to let that slip by.
I got to go. Yeah, everyone's like, where'd you go? The Maldives? No, he went and skated with the Oceanic.
All my buddies from junior were back there. I was happy to have a 2-week break and obviously following the Olympics, but I wasn't upset at all. Like the fact that I was in the conversation, I guess kind of got my hopes up a little bit, but then once I wasn't, it was like I was a fan.
So 10 comes, and you know, in the end, you become a Canadian hero forever, scoring that goal. But people probably don't really remember that tournament. We beat you guys in regulation. There were some question marks going on in the Canadian media. It was a little bit of a gong show for you guys early.
Yeah, because of that game, probably.
And then the goaltender was switched. I think Brodeur had been the starter, right?
Yeah, I think after that game, Luongo went in, and I think we just struggled. We struggled to find those line combinations. As you know, it's a short-term tournament, and a lot of guys. Some guys have played together before, some haven't, and I mean it's a ways back. So I'm trying to jog my memory a little bit, but.
That gold medal doesn't come back to me right away.
Hey, there might have also been some distractions.
Just early on, you know, like early on, there's always that feeling out process, but I feel like it happens so quick.
Yeah.
You know, as far as like the team gets there, the next day you're playing, you don't.
What about the golden goal? Like, do you remember that shift? Do you remember like the feeling right after? I imagine it could be that, or you might not remember a thing.
It's kind of like that. Yeah. I mean, I remember the feeling I had when Parise scored. That's what I remember the most. I was sick to my stomach. Like I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" Like,
we had it.
This is like, you know, what was it, like a minute or 30 seconds?
It was less. It was under a minute, I think.
Yeah,
under a minute.
And I remember like, oh my God, like he just.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because I don't really remember that blacking out on the bench because you're so happy. But and I remember yours that you don't remember so perfectly. Yeah. That's probably true.
Yeah. And then we came in, like we only had 30 seconds. So we come in the room, and it's still kind of like lingering, right? And I remember Scott Niedermayer was like, just like so cool and calm, and just I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was so like, I mean, he was convinced we were going to win, judging by the way he was talking. I just remember, wow, this guy's been through everything. We're going to get this done. Like he just like had that quiet confidence.
As for the goal itself, were you surprised you scored on that particular shot? It was just kind of a weird angle fling. I know Americans were.
Like
easy, all right.
Well, it was like Kane's cup goal. It was like similar.
Yes,
remember? It was like
very
on the ice, weird angle.
Yeah.
And Miller was incredible.
It's cool because I used to do this drill growing up. I remember like probably like 12, 13, 14 years old. It was 10 pucks, and you just shoot 10 into the net. The pucks were scattered all over the offensive zone. So you didn't necessarily know where the net is sometimes. You're just like trying to get 10 pucks in as best time as you can get. So try to score 10 goals on an empty net.
So you just go to the puck, shoot it from where it is.
Yeah. So it's pretty hard because once you get tired, you're skating out to the blue line, you're turning, you're firing. You miss,
Restart.
puck goes in the corner, you got to go chase it down. Like, it's just annoying. It's kind of like a bag skate at the end.
Sounds like one.
But anyways, that drill, you used to get those like bad angles all the time, and you don't really look at the net a lot. You just kind of like let it go. And it was just one of those things where that puck just kind of popped out, and for whatever reason I shot it. But like, it wasn't a like great angle. It wasn't, for whatever reason I shot it. But most times you take that to the net, and I think that's what Miller probably thought I was going to take it to the net. It was just a weird, like, a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, I probably don't shoot that right away. Like, it was just weird the way it worked out.
Well, so basically, my gold medal dreams were crushed at a rink in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, at 5:30 in the morning in 2001. 9 years prior.
But no, seriously though, like what?
Yeah.
You know, it goes 5-hole. It's just it's a pretty low percentage shot. But I guess in overtime, maybe I was thinking no shot's a bad shot.
If anything, it's a panic play, and that's something I would have done. Like, you know, the minutes on your stick, you're like, get it off it.
Yeah.
So what was the celebration that night?
Celebration was really cool. It was kind of, I guess it was tough because the city was just mayhem, and we were leaving like early the next day, right away, because we played, I want to say we played a day later, I think, at home right away. And I remember sitting around with Webbs, and we went to the athletes village. It was like this house they had where, you know, just any of the athletes could come in and hang out. So we brought a bottle of rum, I think, from the rink, and just like had a couple
just
rums
dummied
at the house there. But all the athletes were around. It wasn't just Team Canada. It was just just kind of hanging out there. But the city was just so crazy. I was content to just hang out in the athletes village and hang out with some other athletes there. And I think the men's curling team was around a little bit. So I think it was Kevin Martin.
You know they
actually.
drank.
Oh, yeah.
It was Kevin Martin's group there. So they were around, and we were hanging out with them, and it was a lot of fun, but it was pretty quick. Unfortunately, that's the thing, is like, there's no parade, you don't really get to hang out with the guys that much after. Everyone kind of goes back to their teams pretty quick.
You talked about the struggles early in the tournament. You could probably think of a few distractions off the ice. It was in Vancouver.
Oh.
You got to imagine a lot of guys are going out, probably having a good time, taking in the festivities. Maybe not so much you, but other guys.
I was.
You know, Drew Doughty's not staying in every night in Vancouver.
You got to bring up what story, Vitali story, dude.
We'll have to do a live ad read right now.
Oh, gee, can I do it? Have you guys ever heard him try to do an ad read? All right, let's get ready. I'll go to the bathroom. I'll come back in 25 minutes.
The font is a little bigger than
magazine?
usual. So we're talking here about the Ribcore Trigger 4 Pro. Now, what exactly is that, Sid? This is a CCM. Is that a skate?
The trigger?
The
trigger's a stick.
That's the stick. That's the stick. Okay,
this
I'm
one here.
sorry. It's been a while since I played, Sid. Okay, used by NHL superstars like Sidney Crosby and Nathan McKinnon. CCM's Ribcore stick line is all about quick release, and the Ribcore Trigger 4 Pro stock is no exception. Featuring a new isometric taper shaft geometry and our new agility blade, the Ribcore Trigger 4 Pro stock is an incredibly lightweight and high-performance stick designed to put the puck in the back of the net quicker than ever before.
Nailed it.
Not bad.
Nailed
I
it.
struggled with
Crushed it.
isometric. That's a tough one, and I don't know why it's capitalized. Should I do another one, Grinelli? The one-piece boot featured on the Jet Speed FT2 and Super Tax AS1 skates. It's not complicated. CCM's one-piece boot is all about pure performance. Highlighted by a more direct energy transfer and closer fit, the one-piece boot gives players faster feet. The one-piece boot is available on the Jet Speed FT2 and Super Tax AS1 skates. So that's 2 in a row. I did a pretty good job. Didn't get stuck on that one. You've been with CCM since you started. What do you like so much about it?
Yeah, it was Reebok. It was Reebok first.
Well, they owned each other, didn't they?
Yeah, there was it was CCM Reebok. So yeah, I think just Johnny Max. Do you remember Johnny Max or no? He was a rep with.
Great guy.
Yeah, he was a rep with Sherwood before he came to CCM Reebok. But he was just always unbelievable guy. Always told you how it is. You guys know what it's like if you're dealing with someone and sometimes they're telling you that you're gonna get sticks and.
Biggest lie in hockey. Sticks are in the mail.
Yeah, like
biggest lie in hockey.
That was the worst. So he was always great for that. The company was always great. So yeah, they're good to work with.
As a young kid, Sid, when did you become aware that you were way better than every other kid out there?
Great question.
I didn't really ever have that in my head.
Really? Like you were never said, all right, I'm kind of blowing these 8-year-olds out of the water here.
No, I didn't.
You were playing up though, no?
That's why. I think I was always 2-3 years younger than the guys I was playing against, and I always felt like I needed to work so hard to stay at that level or to play at that level, and that kind of kept pushing me to get better.
And when did you realize that, okay, I think I could do this for a living, or I want to do this for a living? How old were you when you had that thought?
He wanted it when he was 4.5 months.
I don't think you really, I always, even before when I was drafted, I think is when it really hit me. I think even in junior, you're projected, and then you hear stories about guys, that get drafted early, and for whatever reason it doesn't work out. So I don't think I ever let that creep into my head that, hey, you're a first pick, but it's automatic that you're going to play and have a good career and that kind of thing. So, I think that I always had that mentality, that underdog, or I've got to prove myself, that kind of mentality.
So, forever, it's Mario's linked with Jágr, from their titles in Pittsburgh and the dominating teams they had, and for you it'll be Gino.
Yeah.
And I hoped a couple funny, if not one funny, Gino story would come to mind. My favorite being when he had 5 assists against the Maple Leafs and smashed a stick into 100 pieces. You remember that game? We beat the Leafs.
Why? What happened?
We beat the Leafs 5-0 at home, and he had all 5 assists. And he got in the locker room, and he was so mad he didn't score. He smashed a stick in the old shower in Mellon Arena in 100 pieces. And I was like, Orb, he had 5 assists. It was just a classic memory. But I mean, he's been by your side for every year but one, and what a player he is, huh?
Incredible. Just practicing with it, you know what it's like practicing with every day. He just makes it look so easy. He just knifes through guys. Even in the game, he'll be cut in front of the net. There's a guy that looks like he's just going to pick his pocket and go the other way. He just knifes through him it's nothing. He makes it look so easy. And I remember, you know how you have the order when you go out onto the ice, and his first game, he got hurt. I think he missed the first 7 games we played that year because he hurt his shoulder in preseason, and then we had our lineup all kind of preset, and it comes down to him and I at the end of the line, who goes out last. He's just looking at me. I'm like, we don't really.
You're like, bud, this is my second year, bud. Yeah. Fucking beat it. Yeah. Do you remember what he said?
He goes 3 years Super League.
I'm
Yes.
I'm like, what? I'm like, what? He goes 3 years Super League. I'm like, okay. So he wasn't budging at all. I was trying. I was like, rock, paper, scissors every game. No, no chance.
Rookie, first game, telling the fucking 102-point man.
You'd already had the C at that point, no?
No. That was your first game with the C. It was?
No.
Oh, that was your first season with the C, I thought. You got it your second year.
Might have been.
You got it your second year. You got the A halfway through your 18-year-old season. I think when Terrian came, you got an A.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, this kid's 18. He's the assistant captain.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was hilarious. And we still go in that order to this day. He's always last. So
he's a bully. I tell people on the podcast, I used to be at the front of the line, not that I should have been anyway, because I'm a drill buster, but he would just come over, take my puck, go right in front of me, and not even say anything. Not hey, I'm going to lead this one, set the tone here. He would just be like, what the fuck are you doing at the front of the line, and just push me out of the way.
Yeah, but that's him. He's so funny. That's just him. And you know what? When you see it so often, it's just, you get used to it. But
how about him not knowing anyone's name on the team ever? They got rookie parties there.
He's better now. Yeah. He nailed everyone's name last year, like easily. So you can't get him on that anymore.
I said to these guys, like, I played with him, but I don't know him because he didn't speak English then. And now it's like he does interviews and stuff. It's like I play with him, but I don't really know him at all. I'd love to actually see him now. He probably hates me because I'm always ripping on Russia. We need your backstory of the Joe Vitale story. And have you heard this yet?
Yes.
This has definitely gotten back to you. So we need to know, like, when did you decide, all right, this is, I guess actually that night you're probably like, this is going to continue until it stops.
Like, that's nothing for me. Like, when I look back, like, I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I did that. But he went along with it. Like, he knew the second, like,
yeah, it was his meal ticket.
The second, third time I came back to tell him, like, I was like, okay, he's on board. He knows what I'm doing here. And then, like, guys start to pick up little stuff. It's contagious. You'd be surprised guys come in and say, I'm not superstitious, and all of a sudden you see them doing stuff. You're like, okay.
You're like, oh,
okay,
you
buddy,
are?
play it off.
Are you stuttering the story a little more? Because at that point, you're kind of acting, where he knows what's going on, you know what's going on, or do you have to tell it the exact same, and is it just smooth?
Yeah, I mean, it's not word for word.
Are you you must be smirking because you're well aware that he's aware of what the fuck is going on. You're making him listen to the story for the 10th time.
It's not that long a story. It was a quick story.
Could you tell us the story? Could we hear it?
It was like I think I heard that song on like vacation or something, like in Europe.
Couple lines.
Yeah, it was probably
It was just a couple lines.
It was like,
back
hey,
and
you know,
forth.
that was a song I listened to like when I
was the soundtrack to your Italy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was something quick like that. So he's just like, oh yeah, like, and then, like the second time I told him, he's probably like, what?
Yeah, he's like, that's when he's like, he told me that. But then
Yeah.
the third, he realizes, okay.
Yeah,
he's
he was
fucked.
on board.
And then that's not even a lot. What's something that you did for superstition that was just like, you're like, okay, what am I doing now? Like, this is getting excessive.
The throwing of the water bottle. Is that still going on?
Army started that.
Oh,
that
really?
that was a roommate thing. Like we used to just like chuck the bottle, you know, the garbage can in the hotel room, just like messing around. He's like, if I put this in, I'm getting 3 goals tonight. He'd chuck it at the garbage. But like, Army's probably responsible for half of my stuff because
Yeah,
he was
he's
pretty
superstitious,
superstitious too. Yeah.
Tyson Berry told me to ask you about the spin.
Oh God.
The spin doctor.
What's this?
Oh, this is a great story.
What is the spin
It's been
doctor?
retired. First golf club I ever got. I was at Air Lanes Golf Club, which is actually by the airport here. It's a 9-hole. And I was on number 1, and this club came helicoptering across in front of me. I was like, what? And this guy just like chirping. He's so pissed. I was like, here you go, sir. I was young. I was like 14 or whatever. I was
He
like,
threw it?
Threw it, yeah. He was pissed. So I like, here's your club back. He's like, keep it. I'm like, you sure? He's like, keep it. So I'm like, okay. So it's a 60 degree with one of those huge faces, like, just got these huge.
Probably illegal. It's probably an illegal
Super
club.
illegal. Super illegal. So I had that in my bag forever. Like, I knew it was illegal, but I didn't know to what extent. This thing can, like, it stops the ball on a dime wherever you are. Like, you can pretty much just, like, put the ball wherever you want to put it. Like, with this thing, it doesn't move. So we're golfing at Oakmont. Fast forward to, what's this, a couple years ago we're at Oakmont? Yeah, and Tice is there with Nate, and Braden Shen was there too. I'm in like thick rough in Oakmont. So I bring out the doctor, you know? So this is late.
Oh, playing for money.
This
Okay,
is
so
And
late.
out of the rough at Oakmont,
This
hits
is-
the green. It ain't stopping.
This is late in the round too. Like, this is huge. Yeah, this is on 17. This is a huge shot. I'm in trouble, and I just stick it like 2 feet. Doesn't even move, and like Nate is snapping, just losing it.
Was that the doctor? Was that the fucking
He's like,
doctor?
"That's bullshit. Like, you're done with that." So I was like, okay, last shot. So I last shot with it. Like,
So you had to retire
I
it?
retired it. I haven't used it since that round.
What a way to go out, though, for the spin
It had the
doctor.
Lindstrom sandpaper finish.
It
That's
was-
what was making it. So I'm not a golfer. So what you're saying is when you're when you're in rough that thick.
When you're in rough on fast greens, like you hit, there's the whole way to create spin on the ball is hitting it out of the fairway and down on it, right? And the ball creates spin off the club face. But in the rough, you're just hacking it, and it has no spin ever, unless your club's named the Spin Doctor that you got from a guy in 2003.
And you can replace the face on it. So I had all the extra faces. The diamond face, it had the rubber face. It
do
had
you
all
still?
these-
Oh yeah. Do you
He
still
was
have
sharpening
it?
the grooves the night before the match.
Yeah. Do you still have it in your basement?
Oh yeah, I keep it around. I throw it in the bag
We'll
just,
have to get a picture
just
of it
for
to put it
sentimental
up.
value.
Well, dude, I mean, we got anything else for this guy? This is
Let me
great.
read the memo pad. See if we got here.
I got one. When you go into a game in Philly, said you get like a little extra jacked up because of the history there.
And then
Yeah.
peeing on your face.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Hey, thanks.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just, well, like it's already in you because you know, when I first came in, like those games there was fights. It was just crazy intense. I mean, they're still intense now, but there was just that level of anticipation when you're 18 years old and you're seeing guys, you know, square off and go toe to toe. It's just like there's a heightened awareness that comes with that. So I think those games kind of prepared me for what the rivalry was all about, and then it's just continued with, you know, playoff series and that kind of thing. But I think you get up for those games knowing it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge with the crowd and with everything going on.
Definitely a great rivalry for sure.
Yeah.
I wrote down, what was the last book you read?
Hockey Dreams by Matt Christopher. The 2010 men's ice hockey Canadian team run around book schedule.
Okay, stupid question. Sorry about that
Did
one.
you ever have a job before hockey?
That's what I had written down.
Any summer jobs?
Just like landscaping. Yeah, I worked hockey camps. That was the best.
That was nice.
I used to work hockey camps, and
They're like, Sid, we need you to run the drills. You can't set up drills for yourself in the corner. The kids are just staring at you, not doing anything.
I want to talk about the contract a little too. When you signed for, what is it, 8.7878787? Like,
yeah, I mean, I
Like,
think
you want nine?
how lucky is Pittsburgh to get a hometown discount? Because this guy's like OCD times 20.
No, you know what though? It started. What was the max when I signed my second? I think it was 10.
I don't know. I think
it was
Ovi got 10.
I think it was 10.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 and a half.
And I remember, you know, I was willing to take a little less, but taking a little less doesn't work if everyone else doesn't take a little less. You know, so you know, you look at, you know, I think Gino signed for less. Tanger might have signed for less.
But Gino signed after you, and I'm like, I don't know if this guy. I mean, Russians are Russians.
3 years Super League.
He still makes more than you, does he not?
He does, yeah, now.
Right, because he signed like
That
1
first
year
he
after.
He signed after the new CBA, but yeah, like I was willing to do that, and everyone else did. I remember Cooney and Dupuis, they both signed for less. I mean, Cooney had an unbelievable year that 1 year, and the lockout year or the half year.
And I think his
Could've
deal
made-
was just for $4 million per year, where he could have definitely gotten
he
six.
could have cashed in for sure, and he didn't. So, I mean, I was willing to do that, and it worked out.
What was your initial impression of these two peckerheads when you first met them?
Uh-oh.
This is going to be fun. Well, Whit and I hit it off right away.
Yeah,
like,
we
he was
did.
just chirping all the time. Like, the bus rides with Whit, and who was joining you, Whit?
Orp was always like kind of like teeing me up for stuff.
Oh, yeah, like the bus ride used to sit right behind me, and he'd just be carving. Like, you didn't even want to, like, turn your head towards him, because he'd just be carving everyone. People on the sidewalk, guys on the bus. Like, he was just carving everyone all the time. But it was great.
And
Like,
then one person would carve me, and I'd flip out. They're like, Jesus,
Oh, yeah,
give it, but can't take
super
it much.
defensive. Like, super defensive. But then I remember hanging out with Biz in the training room in Pitt, like, shooting the shit a little bit. But then I remember, like, what happened that you got sent down and you were, like, pretty vocal about it?
Oh, okay. So I think I've told this on the podcast before. So my first year at Pittsburgh's training camp, I didn't really get much of a sniff. Got sent down right away to the AHL, and that was when Therrien was coach. He came down. I played 4 exhibition games in the AHL, had 4 goals and 2 assists. Well, they just signed Ryan Lannon, Noah Welch, and all these other defensemen.
Oh, yeah, he told me this, yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you're going down to the coast. And I'm like, the coast? I just fucking lit up your training camp, and you're sending me to the coast? And I'm 19 years old, and these college kids are like 30. Like, who are these old dudes? So I was like, it was bullshit. I didn't really get much of a sniff, and that really upset the organization. Well, then Shiro ended up coming in and replacing Craig Patrick. And we didn't really have a great relationship. And then I came to camp the next year, and they said that we would bury the hatchet and everything was going to be fine. And I was supposed to dress the first inter-squad game, and I go in there, I'd fully dressed in my gear, and Yozi's like, hey, here's the lineup for today's game. I go look on it. I wasn't in the lineup. I put all my gear on.
Yeah.
And as he put it up, I go, hey, Yosi, maybe you guys could give me the heads up next time before I put my gear on.
They're like, who is this guy?
Yosi wanted to kill me. And he fucking hated my guts from that moment there until I finally ended up apologizing for it a few years later. But they ended up sending me right down to the coast, not even to the AHL training camp. I'd fucked up a few times in the meantime, but then we buried the hatchet. I went from becoming a defenseman to a forward, fought 30 times in the American League, and then the next training camp, I believe, is the training camp where I was on the training table acting like I was going to be captain.
No, I brought it up because I remember thinking, like, he doesn't seem like disgruntled or upset, or like he's here having a good time. Like,
he's
there wasn't anything going on.
Diem, I remember all the money with him. You got to know he's happy. He's getting that NHL per diem.
Yeah, like everything seems pretty good here. Like,
And then I made the team at a camp, and we ended up going over to Sweden to start that year. I was like, this is what the NHL is like.
Man, like, I get shit on, right? People see my skates. Look at your skates. They're terrible. Look at your body. You're so pale. Just tell everyone at home, offside one-timer, dude. I did that as good as anyone.
We were talking about this the other day with Nate.
Guys, listen to this.
I told
This is
Nate
Sidney
this.
Crosby.
There's nobody with the same side one-timer this guy had. You saw it.
And thank you very much for joining the Spittin Chiclets podcast.
Nobody. Seriously, like it's insane.
Yeah,
like,
well, you just brought up Mike
I don't even think you practice it. Like,
No, Mike, you gave me a couple, and my limp-wristed curve, the puck went in the corner, and Yosi goes, dude, that spot on the power play, he's going to find you every single game. Let's do this and get you good at it. And Yosi would go out before practice with me and give me the pass where he would pass it from. And, like, over the course of 3 weeks, I got, like, better and better, and then just started sniping because the passes kept coming from him. It was a pretty cool story of, like, coaching helping you figure out what you need, going out helping you figure out how to do it, and then him just giving these fucking on the tape perfect passes that I would just
but even
put
when
a little weight on and shell.
Sometimes they weren't though. Like they're in your feet or like ahead of you, and I'd be like, "Oh, what's he gonna do with this? Is he gonna stop it?" No, he just one tee right in the back of that.
And that reminds me of early on when you were playing with him on the power play. Sometimes you would get frustrated because he would come to the bench and he'd be explaining something, and you're like, Sid, like.
Oh, we used to tell you. I told you that so much. I'm like, Sid, I don't see the game like you. Nobody sees the game like you. Fucking lay off me. I'm trying my best.
Oh, I'm bad for that, man. I'm trying to get better.
Hey, buddy, that's just how it is for the best.
That's why I only lasted 6 seconds with him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, dude, this is unreal. I mean, the fact you take the time for us is much appreciated. So we wish you all the best luck on getting number 4, man.
No, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. It's been a blast.
Must be in the Coyotes.